Hi, I'm Veronica Adeka, and welcome to Beauty and Fashion Talks here on Arise News. Join me as we chat about the latest in fashion news and beauty. Be sure to keep up with us as we stay on top of trends and key players in the industry within Africa and around the world. According to Diane von Furstenberg, style is something we each have. All we need to do is find it. That's true, because today's show, we're focusing on top accessory brands and their impact in fashion. First, I'll update you on what's hot in fashion and beauty news from around the world. Then I'll be joined by Femi Clay, Creative Director of DAP Mode, who will be telling us about what our sunglasses says about our style. And later on, I'll be speaking with Jide Ipaye of Keeks and why he believes the right footwear can rule the world. Don't go anywhere, because Fashion and Beauty Talks will be right back. And now let's take a look at what's going on in the industry. More into this year's Arise Fashion Week. Zenith, Access, Guarantee Trust Bank, and others have backed the Fashion Week designers with 300 million naira, a committed investment to grow global fashion brands out of Africa. Now, this is a launch of the Arise Fashion Management and Mentoring Program. The initiative is curating indigenous brands that can compete with the best in the world and stand firm on the international stage. Kicking off with a boot camp from Tuesday, March 27th, designers participating in the Arise Fashion Week will have access to a faculty of experts who will engage the selected designers in an array of insights in fashion-related business, which include financial management to supply chain management, and most importantly, 10 steps to becoming world-class. Arise Fashion Week host for 2018, Naomi Campbell, will receive the Fashion Icon Awards at this year's CFDA. The ceremony is to be held June 4th. In accepting the honor, Campbell joins the ranks of past icons such as Rihanna, Beyoncé, David Bowie, Pharrell Williams, and Kate Moss, just to name a few. At this point in Campbell's spanning career, she's most deserving. The British model's accolades span the full breadth of the fashion world, from Vogue covers, runways, to music video appearances, and a TV acting career. Not to mention, she was the first Black model to appear on the covers of French Vogue and Time. She truly puts the capital S in supermodel. We are super excited to have Naomi host the fashion show alongside her friends and her noted celebrity stylist, Jenke Ahmed Talley, who has styled known celebrities like Beyoncé and Kim Kardashian. Jenke's work has been featured in top fashion publications like British, US, and Italian Vogue. Most recently, he creatively directed Naomi's GQ British shoot with rapper Skepta. Beyoncé isn't just part of the Gucci Gang fashion club, but also the sustainable side of the luxury brand. Gucci is marking World Water Day with a $1 million donation to Beyoncé's Be Good for Burundi initiative. Now, the initiative was started in collaboration with UNICEF last year and has since earned the support of Gucci and Chime for Change. According to estimates, Burundi, one of Africa's most populated countries, only had safe drinking water for roughly half of its citizens at the time. The lack of access has contributed to the rise of waterborne diseases and is particularly dangerous for young women. Gucci's donation will help Be Good reach their goal of 80 new wells, which would provide access to clean water for more than 120,000 people. 35 wells have been already built, all thanks to Be Good and UNICEF. In a statement Thursday, Gucci boss Marco Bizzarri said he was proud to help with Beyoncé and UNICEF's water improvement efforts. Now to beauty. MAC is in the hot seat with the recent launch of their Fix and Setting Spray. The internet is comparing the line to makeup artist Joel Phillips' signature creation. The product in question goes back to Joel's 2016 DIY shimmery finishing spray she created where she added loose matte pigments and the original fix and setting spray. The concoction quickly gianted steam within the social media world, and the video went viral with 50,000 views in 2 days. From there, Jo went ahead and started her own company, Glow Cosmetics. Now, however, images of a new trio of shimmery matte fix sprays began surfacing online. People immediately connected the dots between the lines, and even Joel felt that the two sprays were uncomfortably similar. MAC denies the claims of copying, and a spokesperson said the shades have been under development for the past few years. Just ahead, after the break, I'll be speaking with Femi Clay, Creative Director, Dap Mode. If you're just joining us, it is Fashion and Beauty Talks here on Arise News. Welcome, I'm Veronica Odeka. Gone are the days when sunglasses were solely a form of protective eyewear, designed to prevent sunlight from damaging or discomforting the eyes. Now they have become a very key part of a person's fashion statement. Joining me now is Femi Clay, Creative Director, Dap Mode, a leading eyewear and accessories brand in Lagos. We're heading for a short break, but when we come back, I'll be speaking with Jide Ipaye of Keeks. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Fashion and Beauty Talks on Arise. I'm Veronica Odeka, and in the studio with me is Femi Clay. Welcome, Femi. Thank you for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
So we've talked about, Dap Mode. It's everywhere. Everyone's been talking about Dap Mode. In fact, I came to know about it on social media. So for someone who now has an eyewear accessory line in Lagos, I want to know, where did the idea for eyewear come from? Where?
Before I started the eyewear business, I used to sell shoes. Mm-hmm. And
were you selling luxury shoes or just shoes in general?
Fast fashion shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, and while I was doing that, I was thinking of other opportunities. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that people in Nigeria were selling eyewear with other products in their stores, so there was no eyewear branding. So I started to research, found a supplier, and then
the rest is history.
Yeah,
so would you say that it's more of your love for business or being able to spot opportunities that created that?
I'll say bits of both. Business and
do you have any business background, or this is just more like street sense? You know how some people have like street sense?
Street sense.
So you would say street sense. But, for someone who does not necessarily have a really direct notation with fashion, you have literally been able to create a cultural movement with Dap Mode. How were you able to do that? So you've told us, like, okay, yeah, I was selling footwear, saw the opportunity for eyewear. You seem to stick with accessories, and then you started, selling Dap Mode. Where did the name even come from, Dap Mode?
Dap is short for dapper. Mm-hmm. Mode means fashion and style, up to the minute. So
this is part of your business sense, just put it together and then created the brand. Yeah. So how did you develop this cultural movement with it now being something that the cool kids wear? I seem to see everyone wearing your pieces.
Influencer marketing. Mm-hmm. What I used to do then was, when I sell a product to somebody, because I'm dealing with the customers directly, when they give me feedback like, oh, I like the product, I received it, I really like it, so nice. I'll tell them, give us a shout on Instagram, at us on Instagram, say what you like about the product on Instagram. And people kept doing it. And then influencer marketing wasn't so big. People didn't even know the value of their Instagram.
Exactly.
So they were just doing it for free. Unlike now that even somebody that has 5 followers on Instagram wants
to get some change, exactly, a little bit of something.
So it kept happening, and I was a lot of the cool kids in Lagos or in Nigeria were doing it. So people that looked up to the cool kids were copying them.
Influenced by that.
Yeah.
By that journey. I always say that Nigeria is a very hard market to break. no matter what it is that you have to give us, whether it's a product or whether it's a service, because we are very luxury inclined. And we are not really, we don't really like to try new things. So, accessories are something we take pride on wearing. You have it on every day and people are asking you constantly, oh, what brand is that, So were you nervous about creating this product that you knew that you were gonna come into the market with? And it's not particularly a brand label that can stand on its own like the international brands, but now you've created a brand, a Nigerian brand by a Nigerian young business guy, So were you a bit nervous? What was the reaction like? Your jitters?
I wasn't nervous. Mm-hmm. I knew that it would work because it was working in so many other countries. Mm-hmm. They had these brands in other countries, and the strategy I had to come into the market was, should I say, fresh then, and I was very confident because I was doing it with the shoes, and I knew how effective it was. You
had a feeling. Sometimes you have that gut feeling. You're just like, I know it's going to work.
And when I came up with the name, I was so proud of myself. Like, oh, this name is so cool. Even the name will sell itself.
Exactly. There you go. Okay, so that's what you now use to sell. I now see that, off the success of Dap Mode, you've literally built this culture, and you've moved from sunglasses into phone cases, into T-shirts, How did this come about? Was there a demand for it, and then, or you just decided this is part of your business strategy and your plan?
When I first started, I wanted to create a brand, and I was thinking of how to get into the market, how the brand can stand in the market.
On its own, yeah.
So eyewear was new. I knew it was. A niche.
I think, and we're seeing some of it right now. People that are tuning in are watching what's going on.
When I started with the eyewear business, we used to do shoots, take pictures and everything. And there was a time we were doing a photo shoot, and we made a T-shirt for one of the models to wear. It was for the glasses, not the T-shirts. People kept asking, oh, I want the T-shirts to wear, I want the T-shirts to wear. And the demand was so much, I knew I had to put my name on some
Exactly, so you just followed pretty much the demand was there, and you just fed the consumer what they wanted, so that the market, you capitalized on the market in every area, right?
Exactly, and with the phone cases, obviously, same way I always look for new opportunities. I saw some phone cases online places. It didn't have that real existence. So I started phone cases as well.
I really, really like that. So I just want to say, can we see some of the phone cases? Let's just take a look at them, because I think that they have like cool slang sayings on them. And it's just something you could easily gift this to a friend, or put it in a gift, or even use them for different. So cool kids don't sleep. And what does yours say? Can't stop, won't stop. So you have them for different phone. I think this is so cool. Really, really cool. And then, of course, the T-shirts. And very affordable as well. Okay. We really like this. Do you, boo? I think this is the bestseller?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is really cool. Yeah. And what about the sunglasses? I would like to know, what is your bestseller with your sunglasses? Do you have ones that people frequently request that you've sold out? Or is there a particular color or a frame style?
It's always different seasons. For example, now aviators are really doing good.
Aviators. So I think the aviators are like classics. So you kind of have classics, and then you also have ones that are based on trends. I really like that. Oh, let me put the watch out thing. This is really, really cool. I really like this. Those ones are really, really cool. Okay, well, this is great. What's next for the brand? Now that you've done this, you've covered this market in this area, what is actually next for Dap Mode? Share with us.
Just to keep looking for ways to grow, to sell more, to exist in more parts of Nigeria. There are some states that don't have access to our products. And some of these guys want to buy them, but they don't believe in e-commerce, buying online or whatever. They want to walk into a store and buy them. So hopefully we can have stores in different parts of Nigeria where people can walk in and
that's really great. So I really want to thank you so much. I know we don't have a lot of time left, and I have to quickly wrap this up. So I want you to just share with us your social media handle for those of you that definitely want to tap into this Dap Mode culture. How can they get the pieces?
You can get them from our website, dapmodeeyewear.com, from our store in Lekki Phase 1.
And then they can
DM us on Instagram at @tapmode. Follow us, send us a DM. We'll
and
reply
then he'll send it to you. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Femi, for joining us on the show. I want you guys to stay tuned because when we come back, we are going to be talking to another amazing accessory designer, Jide Ipaye. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Fashion and Beauty Talks on Arise. I'm Veronica Odeka. When you don't get a piece of item you love in your size, what do? Sulk about it? Well, my next guest, Jide Ipaye, decided to create his own shoe line, Keeks, when he couldn't find shoes in his size. Let's take a look at his journey.
I have been involved with 3 startups, including the one I'm running currently called 3CNet. And here I am. I remembered growing up and I had a fetish for shoes. But as I grew older, I became a size 48. And you know what happened? I don't get shoes my size anymore. And even when I do find shoes that are my size, they're not the right kind of fit or design that I want. And I started asking myself, why don't I just make my own shoes? But making shoes is not enough for myself. If I'm going to make for others, I figured I might as well set up a factory, a full-fledged one in Lagos, Nigeria, of world-class standard that would produce shoes and create employment for a lot of people. And at the same time, 10% of that is also going towards social causes. The Keeks footwear brand is a unique selection of trendy as well as very, very unique products, ranging from flip-flops to espadrille, as well as sneakers and sandals. In order to achieve my goal of setting up the factory in Lagos, Nigeria, I knew it was important to acquire the skills as well as the knowledge to do so. So I decided to attend training at SLEM in Waalwijk, Holland, which is basically a school for innovative footwear design and manufacturing.
That is so interesting. Thank you, Jide, for joining me on set today to talk about your brand and everything that has happened in between since the beginning of your journey. I just want you to share. I know we watched it and we've seen a little bit, but tell me where this idea, because obviously, even if you don't have shoes that size you, you could just buy some shoes, you know? So where did this come from? Do you have business? Did you go to business school or something? Was that it? What were you doing before? Where did this niche?
Right. Thanks a lot, Veronica, for having me. I think this was more of trying to solve a personal problem. I obviously grew up wearing my dad's shoes by the time I was about 10. And so I realized pretty quickly that I was growing a lot faster than most of my peers in terms of shoes. And so a couple of years back in 2015, I decided to solve that problem. I was on holiday with the family in Paris, and I said, why don't I just find a place where I can learn how to make shoes? So I got on the internet, checked out a school in the Netherlands, flew right down there, spoke to the owners of the school and told them that I was interested in making sneakers. And I spent the next few weeks learning how to make shoes. And, you know, the rest has been history. So the shoes were then made or designed, and then I realized I couldn't make just a pair. It was going to be very expensive to do that because it was a factory that was producing that. So I was forced to basically look at how I could make a lot more. And I said, why don't I just make for others as well? And that's where the idea came from. And obviously, one of the things that I've always wanted to do was to create a business that could transcend beyond just making money. I was also interested in looking how to create something called a for-profit enterprise. You know, so that's how the Keeks idea started. It started from a need, and then when I couldn't fulfill that properly, I realized I had to scale it to be able to solve my problem, and then
obviously the problem for other people, which I think is really interesting because this is an entrepreneur's journey to success. Nobody really, either people start for the money or they start from a need and you're solving a problem and giving an answer to a question that a lot of people have. So let's just shift it a little further. You did go to Paris and then from there on to the Netherlands where you took these courses and you learned how to develop this shoe line. They were making them there and you took courses, obviously. But now you're back. Holiday's over, time to get to work. They've made one, they've made pairs. How did you transition from having the factory make it there to now setting up your own factory here and having them produce the shoes here?
Okay, so basically we actually haven't set up a factory yet.
Okay.
What we realized very early in the game was manufacturing shoes, especially shoes that are, you know, precision built, is based on economies of scale. So you need to For example, the factory line can produce about 2,000 pairs of shoes a day. And that obviously means you're talking 60,000 in a month, maybe 720,000 in a year. So we started off with something called crowdfunding. We got onto a site called Indiegogo. And then we had people basically pre-order the designs and ideas that I had. And we had pre-orders from about 4 continents. And we raised about $20,000 in 40 days. That was in 2015. And following that crowdfunding campaign, the excess we got from there, we started retailing in Nigeria. And then, we started retailing in a few countries as well. We're in Guadeloupe. We have a retailer there. We've got a retailer in Dubai. We've got retail in Kenya. We've got some activity in South Africa. And now we're trying to scale to the next level, which is basically to set up the factory locally. So we need to drive the volumes a lot more. And therefore, we're about to start another crowdfunding campaign in a couple of days' time.
I think this is absolutely impressive. What now was the response? Obviously, Nigeria, I say this all the time, even in luxury, we are a luxury country. We love our name brand stuff, and we quickly compare, oh, why should I spend this amount of money for this thing? Oh, who made it? So how difficult was it for you to break into the market? Or was that even your price, was that your target market, or were you just trying to make it mass for everyone? What was the idea behind it?
So obviously the first thing was the cost of production, and then trying to factor out what it will cost to land the products in any country. And based on that, you then need to decide how much you're going to sell the products. And so the first thing we did was to use the crowdfunding as a way to test the idea, validate the business idea, and say, if this crowdfunding works, then it means that there is a market for this product here. So initially we started from outside Nigeria, and then we brought it into Nigeria. And obviously the crowdfunding gave us a lot of PR because it got featured by CNN and a couple of other platforms. And then, the storytelling of the brand, I think, has really helped
it's the strongest
in sharing that, ideology of the brand, and people wanted to just buy into that vision and that dream. And so it's been absolutely amazing. Nigerians have been extremely supportive, both home and abroad, and I think it's been an amazing journey.
I want to talk about, it is a fashion footwear accessory brand, and I've seen that you've done a lot of fashion shows. How did you get into that? And tell us about the collaborations that you've had. I know you're definitely going to be working with Arise Fashion Week, which happens next week, but tell us about your journey so far with fashion shows.
Okay, so we actually started off with the African Fashion Week. And we were opportune to have worked with the likes of Ade Bakare on the runway, and then a couple of other designers, and then we did the Heineken Fashion Week as well. We collaborated with Kina Booty on the runway. We also collaborated recently with Orange Culture. The last Fashion Week, they had a Davido Orange Culture collaboration, the If clothing line. And so we've managed to, interface
into popular culture,
a lot of, our products with a lot of popular culture demand. And, so it's been, and then we did the SA Fashion Week as well, the Men's Fashion Week. I think the great thing about that show was the fact that the fashion designer called African Swiss was actually trying to tell an African story, and he needed a pair of shoes or a product that could complement his storytelling. And then we had the Fela Kuti inspired collection, which was the first one we did. And so our shoes tell a lot of stories, and they're Afrocentric, they're African inspired. So they tend to tie in pretty well with a lot of what the designers are doing now.
Really good. I know we don't have a lot of time, and I really want to touch on really quickly the initiative that you have, that you're going. It's going to be March 27. Just touch on that really quickly with our viewers before we're out of time.
Okay, so basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to build up a large followership, create enough awareness. We're using a tool called Thunderclap, which is an aggregator of social media reach. And then we're going to be pushing all the traffic to a site called Indiegogo. So people would have the opportunity to pre-order our new collection. So we have something called the Afronauts, which we're launching with our crowdfunding campaign. It's a story about a Zambian team that wanted to go to space in the 1960s. And so we're going to be sharing that on the crowdfunding
Well,
campaign
I thank you so much for your time. We don't have a lot of time left in the studio. Thank you, Jide. For those of you who are watching and you want to know more, you can follow them on their social media page. That's all from Fashion and Beauty Talks today. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Stay tuned for the rest of our programming on Arise News.